Hey guys, Barbie and the Brood here. Sorry for such a long lapse between our last review and now. We've been on nights, as you could tell from our last reviews in Port Arthur, Texas. Didn't think we were ever going to leave, locked up in a prison on planet bullshit.
Or you can tell by the bags that have bags that have bags that we've been on nights.
Still not fully rested. We've been off about a week, but we have changed locations off to greener pastures here in Freeport, Texas, to start another job here come Monday. We're going to be day shift on this one, so we won't feel like such vampires as we did, and maybe get a little sun in the meantime, at least from about here down and in our hands when we're not wearing our gloves.
Yes.
But anyhow, I digress. Back to what we do here, which is reviewing good and sometimes bad food choices. We parked the RV tonight and decided to go get something to eat.
When
We parked it at Plantation Oaks RV Park. I've stayed here before. Very nice park, well laid out, very friendly people.
I was gonna say our neighbors are very friendly,
very chatty. But you know,
super nice. We had an ant bed.
Had an ant bed, and he, before he could even get it out of her mouth, he came up with some poison to help dust it. I mean, super friendly.
Very friendly.
The kind of neighbors you want to have. So anyway, that's another story, I suppose. But we were hungry, decided to get something to eat. It is crawfish season, springtime. Often as we travel, we don't get to eat crawfish as much as we like because anybody that's in turnaround plant life knows springtime and fall are your big busy seasons. This is coming up springtime, so luckily we are somewhere where we can get some crawfish. We decided to have some tonight.
And it's my favorite food.
She could eat it every night if I let her. Damn the blood pressure with all the salt. But anyway, we went to a place called the Swamp Shack, Lake Jackson, right up the road. Not to be confused with
I just thought.
Crazy Allen Swamp Shack. Not sure that there's any affiliation. If there is, they didn't claim it at all. But Swamp Shack, Lake Jackson. What did you think?
We got married since our last review.
Oh, yes, we certainly did.
Like when I seen my ring in the camera, it hit me that this is the first review since we got married.
That is right. The first review we have done as Mr. and Mrs. Brute. Anyway, so Swamp Shack in Lake Jackson. Went to go have some crawfish. We started our night with an appetizer. I got a dozen oysters on the half shell, and she had a crawfish pistolette. I have to say, the oysters were delicious. I mean, they are raw oysters. Not much you can do there for the taste. However, they were very clean, not gritty. A tad small, but we are pretty, South Texas, it's kind of hit or miss, I guess. But pleasantly surprised with how clean they were. Very good, very presented very nicely. Delicious. How was your pistolette?
So good. Way better than Crazy Allen's and Kima. And I wanted to eat more. It was really good. A+.
It came out in a bowl, smothered. I know some places serve it in more of a roll fashion with just a little filling. This place completely smothered the pistolette. It was good.
And when I went to cut it, to eat it, I was kind of iffy because I needed a little butter knife to cut my roll. And I was thinking that it was going to be like, oops, no. The roll was soft. I don't know if it was just with the heat and I don't know. I needed the little knife to cut it, but it was super soft and it was so good. So good. I want to go back there just to have the pistolettes. So good.
So definitely 2 thumbs up on the pistolette.
Yeah.
So again, it is crawfish season, so we decided to order some crawfish. They told us they were running low, but they were able to get us 2 5-pound platters. They run a little special, market price, as most places are. Some corn, some potatoes, 5 pounds of crawfish. They did run out of corn on my platter. So they gave me some extra potatoes. So nice they do a little something to add value there. She did order a 1/4 pound of mushrooms to go with hers. They came out, they looked good, they smelled great. As far as their taste, they weren't bad. Not the worst crawfish I've ever had in my life. Not the best. They satisfy the crawfish craving. We do have a place that we prefer, which shall remain nameless in this review because we will review it later when we make it back towards the house. But you can't hide from it, I promise you. Shameless plug. Anyway, so crawfish.
Anybody back home will know.
Right. Anybody that watches this, all three of you out there that watch this, will know what I'm talking about. But the crawfish did not have a bad flavor. They weren't especially spicy. They were just kind of,
We both wish we would have asked for some
extra seasoning to sprinkle on there. The other place we go, you get a choice of spicy or extra spicy. They didn't give you an option here. I guess I could have requested. Didn't think to, because I'm used to going to where we go normally. You kind of get used to those things. But not to bash them at all. They were tasty. Just I prefer the other location a little more.
I prefer it a whole lot more.
The order, of course, melted butter. That's a staple, and remoulade sauce. Their remoulade, a little heavy on the horseradish. Maybe another ingredient had like a little tang to it that I didn't personally care for. Personal preference. I mean, everybody has their own recipe and do this, add this to take away that.
But
whatever.
I also preferred the butter over their sauce here at this place.
So, but we both had 5 pounds and we ate them all. They were good. They did their job. They satisfied the crawfish craving, but
they just weren't the best.
They weren't the best out there.
We have, but they were good. So if you like crawfish, we would recommend you eat it. It was good. It just was not. It don't take that away from the best we've had. Yeah. I guess that's what I keep searching for in our travels, of like trying different crawfish, is who and when and where is going to top our back home place. And for me, nothing has yet.
But in fairness, she's never had my boiled crawfish.
No, it's been over 2 years, and he keeps telling me that we're going to, but in our line of work, things just never line up, and so, married to him, but I ain't had his crawfish yet. Sad. It's so sad.
Doing something right. I didn't have to bribe her with crawfish to get her to marry me, so there's that. But Swamp Shack, Lake Jackson, pretty tasty, friendly. The service was good. She was a friendly waitress.
Yeah.
The drinks were strong.
Oh. She made me kind of feel like a bitch for just like a split second, only because. Tell me.
So again, we keep referencing the place that we always go, but this is where we eat more often than not and what we're used to.
But it's also even where you're from.
Right. Even back home in Louisiana, it's a common practice. Mm-hmm. You're eating crawfish, you have shell and heads that you have to dispose of. Most places give you a bucket to dispose of, and as you fill your bucket, your waitress comes by and empties your bucket so that it doesn't overfill. This place, 1 bucket for 2 5-pound platters, and just kind of left it there.
It was the typical little metal. It wasn't going to fit.
Like a bucket when you order a bucket of beer at a bar.
Yes.
So it was starting to get full, and Shay, politely, not rude, asked her, you can empty our bucket. And she just kind of looked at her.
Could she do anything? And I was like, oh, you could empty the bucket. And
she kind of gave her the stank face. What?
I was like.
So she took it, and she said, I'll just go get you another one. She took it and come back with another one. Shay asked me, was I rude? I was like, no, you weren't rude, but obviously they don't do that there. They don't empty, which, okay, it's fine if they don't empty the bucket. Not a big deal, but for 2 5-pound platters, you probably should have brought more than 1 bucket.
2 buckets, yeah.
Because, normally when we go eat crawfish, she'll eat 5, and I end up eating 10 to 15 myself. So
yeah, that 1 bucket definitely
wouldn't have been enough at all. It would have been a mess. So just a small knock, but,
but
everywhere does things different.
In her defense, though, when she come back and I asked, because I was like, I wasn't trying to be rude, I asked her if I was. She's like, no, ma'am. But she said they typically don't do that there. So if you do go eat there, do not expect for them to empty your bucket. And I told her that I was sorry, that that's just what I was accustomed to. I said from where I'm from, which she proceeds to ask me, where is that? I was like, oh, like 2 hours from here. But still, he reminded me we're further south where we're from, that it is like every crawfish place I can think of back home, and even where he's from, they always empty the bucket. So I assumed that they did that up here, at that restaurant they did not. So I was kind of shocked. I was like, I feel like an asshole a little bit, but she was nice about it and stuff, and I was shocked to learn that was different here. Just so short of a distance from home.
Everybody does it a little different.
Yes.
So, and that's one thing that our goal was by creating this channel and doing these reviews, is just to kind of point out the differences, what we like, what we don't like, and so people can get a feel for our opinions, and then of course you can go and take what we say with a grain of salt and form your own. But at least you can't go in and say you weren't warned about things that we find and experience. All in all, though, I'd give it a good solid B plus on a grade scale. I'd eat there again. Being down here, not having access to the Crawfish back home. Now, obviously, if I was going to be put head to head, this place versus Crawfish back home, I'm taking Crawfish back home every time.
Yeah.
But we're down here, and it satisfies the craving to get us by until we can't get home.
I do want to try on their menu. I saw crawfish nachos, wasn't it?
Yeah, crawfish nachos.
And so I do want to try that. But I've told him I definitely want to go back for their pistolettes. Even if I don't eat their boiled crawfish again, their pistolettes they were that good.
And I want to go back and try the catfish Creole, a fried catfish fillet topped with shrimp etouffee. Sounded delicious, and even their Cajun burger topped with boudin and crawfish queso sounded delicious. So maybe a first time thing for our channel to do review part 2 for a second visit. The food smelled and looked and sounded tasty, so it may be worth diving in again.
Definitely sounded delicious.
But that's about all we got to say tonight. We'll keep you posted. Hopefully we'll, being on days, we'll be able to upload a few more reviews, a little more frequent for those of you who are dying to hear what we have to say. All, like I said, 3 of you.
They are. All 3 of them are.
But other than that, thank you all for listening. Like and share, subscribe, please. Thank you all for watching and listening. This is Barbie and the Brute signing off.